Welcome to the Boulder City Podcast. I'm Roger Gross, your host, and our guest today is Amy Carvalho, the Regent running for re-election. Amy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Roger. It's great to be here today.
So before we get into how the Regent thing works, why don't you give us a little bit of your background and what you're doing now?
Sure. Well, my name's Amy Carvalho. I've been involved with Boulder City since 2001. I moved to Southern Nevada when I was 10. My father was in the Air Force, and we were stationed at Nellis. And I graduated from Rancho High School, went to College of Southern Nevada. At the time, it was actually Community College of Southern Nevada. Graduated from there. Graduated from UNLV. Met my husband. We got married in 2000. Decided we really want to be a part of Boulder City. We bought our first property here in 2001. Ended up buying 7-Eleven here in Boulder City in 2004, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And that's the old 7-Eleven, to be clear.
That's right. Well, and we did move into the new 7-Eleven, and then we sold it.
Okay, great. So let's talk about why you were interested in becoming a regent.
Sure. Well, it really wasn't something that I was thinking about doing, at least in terms of running for office in any way. But the then regent, Andrea Anderson, approached me about considering it. She was thinking about not running for a second term, and asked me if I would do it. I gave a talk at Rotary about my passion for learning and that helping with community and higher education, and she thought it would be a great fit. And so I considered it and thought, okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay. And I was really appreciative of her support. She just recently passed away.
Oh, okay. That's too bad. So let's get under the weeds a little bit. What does a regent do?
So a regent is a board of 13 elected members from across the state of Nevada. We each have our own district that is distinct from any other districts of any political
So it's not
offices.
like a legislative district?
No, it's not. It is different. And so we basically supervise, hire, and fire all of the presidents of the 8 public institutions in Nevada of higher education, and also the chancellor. And we oversee the budget that is legislatively approved.
Okay. So the eight include, of course, UNLV, UNR, College of Southern Nevada, all the public institutions, I would imagine.
Right. So UNLV and UNR are 2 high research universities. We have Nevada State University, which is a mid-tier institution, four-year institution. And then we've got our 4 community colleges: College of Southern Nevada, Great Basin Community College, Western Nevada Community College, and Truckee Meadows Community College. And then also Desert Research Institute.
Okay, so that falls under there too, then.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what does the regent position pay? I'm going right.
Very little.
Okay.
It's $80 a meeting.
$80 a meeting.
Yeah, and
oh, wow.
our
You're not going to get rich on that.
No, you're not. And our travel's reimbursed.
Okay.
So it really has to be a love of
Labor
what we
love,
do.
for sure,
Yeah.
And so what kind of work do you do then? Do you get a folder before each meeting of the issues that are going to come up?
Well, essentially that we're issued an iPad, and it's all on an app that's on there. So that's a little bit better than, although some prefer having that piece of paper in front of you, and of course our office would do that for you. But we have 4 quarterly meetings that meet at different institutions. Our next one is in December, and it'll be at UNLV. And then we have special meetings that tend to happen on all of the months that we don't have quarterly meetings.
Okay. So and you do work in between this, between the meetings, do you interview people, or when you need to hire people, that kind of thing?
Sure. Well, the interview process is very transparent. We follow under the open meeting law, so everything has to be in the public purview. But there's always events that we're invited to go to. And like I said, other meetings, getting to know our presidents, visiting campuses. There's always something to do in between the meetings. And also, I'm the chair of the board right now. So that's an extra layer of responsibilities as well.
So when a college, university, let's say like UNLV, announces an expansion plan, I mean they've gone through so many new buildings that have come out there. Stowe Shoemaker is a good friend of mine. He helped put together the College of Hospitality
Right.
building, which is
Beautiful
a
building.
spectacular building.
Yes.
So does that have to go through the regents before they can approve that?
Yes, and most of them will have to also go through the legislature if they have state funding for those capital improvement projects. Some others have go through a public-private partnership. The UNLV School of Medicine
Right.
did that, where the private corporation that consists of very generous donors in Southern Nevada essentially paid for the building that the medical school is in.
Okay. Great.
But yes, all of that comes through.
So all
through
those
us.
issues come through.
Yes.
How about some of the issues? One that just came up this week, or the volleyball team at UNR refused to participate against the San Jose State volleyball team because they have a trans person playing on their team. Does that come before you at all? Something like that?
Some issues like that may come before us in terms of, policy revision or things of that nature. But there is a line between what the board does and what our presidents are responsible for. And that particular issue isn't coming before us at this time. Again, it may be a policy issue that comes before us. But on that, we have Nevada revised statute that dictates that, and also the NCAA rules.
Okay.
And the choice that the students made.
Okay. It sounds very complicated. I mean, do you have a legal counsel who? I'm sure
We definitely do. Yes, we have legal counsel, special legal counsel for the board, and then we've got general counsel also for the system.
Okay, it sounds like you need them
We do.
pretty frequently. Yeah. So, question one on the ballot this year has to do with the regents. Explain what it means and where you stand on it.
Sure. Well, question one is asking the voters to amend the state constitution to remove the Board of Regents from our constitution. Right now we have, our authority comes from the Nevada Constitution. There has been I would say a long-standing concern by mostly the legislature that they think that they should have tighter control over the Board of Regents. I would say that they essentially pull the purse strings. It's our budget is an executive budget that comes from the governor's office that's approved by the legislature.
Sure.
But they would like to have more oversight. I would say. My concern with that, and I would say. I would ask voters to vote no on that question, because what that does is now opens up the ability of regents to be appointed or in some other way besides being elected.
Right.
And I think it's really important in Nevada. We take our vote seriously.
Sure.
And I think that that should remain. I would say that there should be some sort of requirements or prerequisites to put your name on the ballot for being a regent, but I would address it in that way instead of taking us out of the Constitution.
Yeah, and it's very hard to change the Constitution anyway, because you have to have so many votes, but also if the legislature decide it wouldn't be elected position, then that would change the whole complexity of the board.
It would, and they do have oversight and a lot of control as it is. In the last legislative session, the legislature reduced the number of regents on the board from 13 to 9. So we're kind of in that phase-in process. My term, my first term that's coming to an end now, it was a 6-year term.
Okay.
If I'm lucky enough to be reelected, it'll be a 4-year term. That's part of that phase-out process to go down to 9 regents.
Okay.
And also from a 6-year term to a 4-year term.
So when they did that, did they redraw the districts?
They will. They haven't done that yet.
Okay, right. So is there still 13 on there, or is there 9?
No, there's still 13
Okay,
right now.
okay.
That process we won't get to 9 for, I think, at least 4 years.
Okay.
I won't see a difference in my second term.
Okay, so there's the terms aren't all up at the same time. They all
Correct.
overlap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Great. So yeah, I think that doesn't really make sense to give the legislature control, because I would think they would be more politically oriented than, if they appointed people. I mean, we see who they appoint to the gaming commission, which I'm familiar with, and some of these people don't know anything about gaming. At least when you go before the voters, you have to demonstrate that you have some concern about education.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I think that education should be outside of political parties and politics.
Right.
And that's where we are now.
Right.
If you don't like your regent, it's important to cast your vote.
Yeah. Okay. So regents are not identified as Democrat or Republican, just like the judges.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Nonpartisan races.
Okay. Great. So, one of the concerns the state has had for as long as I've been living here is that the state is, consistently ranked in very, very low, 48th through 50th in terms of educational in the nation. Can the regents have anything to do with raising that standard?
I would say yes. Mm-hmm. It's difficult because I think that our state depends on tourism and hospitality.
Right. Sure.
Historically, you don't need an 4-year degree, or really even a 2-year degree,
right,
to break into those
mm-hmm.
Types of jobs.
Right.
But we see from the pandemic, and then before that the recession, that we need to diversify our economy.
Right.
And I think we're finally doing some more of that with the lithium development. Panasonic and Tesla have come into northern Nevada. We've gotten a lot more manufacturing in southern Nevada. And I think until the last year or so that there was an understanding that education can be a part of that.
Right.
I feel that in the political climate to some extent has questioned the value of higher education for a lot of people.
Sure.
And so I think I think it's really important for regents to tell the story of what higher education means in Nevada, and the transformative power of education.
Sure.
I truly believe that.
Well, talking about diversifying the economy. I mean, we mentioned the medical school. We doctors in Nevada are down there with the education.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have a real quality medical school in the state, so doctors would stay home.
Right. Completely agree with that. We've got a medical school at UNR, mm-hmm. and now one at UNLV. We need to dramatically increase the number of doctors we have here, and so that really plays a part in that.
Right. And are there other areas, maybe some tech areas we need to or STEM areas that we need mm-hmm. to really improve?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do know that there's a lot with AI that's being worked on at both of our 4-year institutions. I mean, I would even say that CSN has a great cybersecurity program. Mm-hmm. And you can break into that field with a 2-year degree.
Sure.
And very well paying.
Right.
But it's just about getting that out there and getting the information to people who are looking for those kinds of jobs.
Sure.
And also I'll say too that, funding is very important to higher education. That means tuition, right. But it also means support from our state. And Nevada has been on the lower end of state appropriations to education as well.
Okay. So mining is a big industry in Nevada as well, and I just read the other day there's some really big lithium mines in the northern part of the state. I mean, is that something we could do more educating on in terms of the upper level education?
Oh, 100%. An engineering degree is probably one of the highest paying degrees that you can get, and that really ties in very closely with mining of all sectors.
Right.
UNLV just opened a new engineering building, top of the line, high tech building. UNR has already gotten that, and we're doing it. It's just about getting the word out there and getting students prepared for these types of degrees.
Right.
And that's also especially an area that I'm interested in is making sure that we have that good connection between K-12 and our higher education institutions, so that students come into our schools ready.
Sure. Great. And another, on the other end of the scale there, we have a lot of environmental studies going on, certainly, at UNLV, and I'm sure at UNR as well.
Mm-hmm, definitely. UNR has got their institute that really does a lot of research at Lake Tahoe, and also about with the environment, and UNLV. And I'll say that DRI does the same thing. They do a lot of atmospheric research.
Yeah, no question. So one more question. Why do you want to continue to serve as a regent?
Well, I think I'm known as somebody who is always very well prepared for our meetings. I'm doing this because I have a passion for education. I'm not looking for higher political office. I'm not in it to make money, as we've already talked about. And I feel that my presence on the board has been one of, experience in higher education in Nevada.
Sure.
And I bring a sense of stability and bridging whatever comes next, with professionalism and a real passionate voice for higher education.
Okay, great. If reelected, will you be continuing to act as chairman?
Well, that's up to my colleagues.
Okay.
I would be able to be elected for another year. Each year we elect the chair. Okay. So if that's their will, then I will continue.
Great. Well, good luck on the campaign trail here, and we hope you get a lot of votes here from Boulder City and get reelected.
Thank you. I appreciate it.